Is the bottom in? That is a question we will try and answer today. Hey everyone, it's Joe from Ainslie's Gold Silver Standard Insights, brought to you by goldsilverstandard.com and ainslieBullion.com.au. It's TA Tuesday, where we take a look at the price of gold, silver, and sometimes a crypto, sometimes something else, and that something else will be platinum, because I did promise that in last week's video. We'll come to that one at the end. We're going to start with gold, then go to silver, end with platinum. So here is gold on the monthly time frame. It's the US dollar price, $1,770 US right now, and we're using the tradingview.com website. Just wanted to start out on the monthly just to see the big macro view. Obviously going back here, this is 1970, the big peak there in 1980, the next peak in 2011, the double top here, 2020 and 2022. And a little consolidation, but look at this beautiful little monthly green candle. So that question is this green candle, is that signifying the bottom? I'll give you my personal non-financial advice opinion at the end, but let's take a look at a few different things. We'll come back to the monthly. Let's pop into the daily just to see where we were in the last 7 days since the last video. Last time we'd been talking about the previous video to the last video, so 2 videos ago, we'd been talking about this double bottom. And we were saying, I was saying, definitely not saying it's going to go higher, but, on balance of probability, a double bottom usually signals more often than not, some higher prices coming. And then I was almost proven wrong, because we did see a move back down, but it became a triple bottom. So come on, a triple bottom. That's pretty good. And we did see a move back up. So around about the 8th is when I did the video. I was hovering around this kind of area here. We were talking about the key levels of resistance that we would need to push through and hold before we could say, the bottom is definitely in. What we've seen in the last 7 days is a beautiful move all the way through $1,700. $1,690 right there, 1680, and straight through. We had a little bit of resistance here on the daily time frame, right there on the Wednesday last week. A little bit of resistance, but it acted as support right here. It didn't break down, so then it was a fast move in this direction, and we're just currently we sailed through 1720, and we're currently in between 1720 and my next resistance level, which is around about $1,790 US, call it 1800 even, somewhere between there. Now, here it is on the daily time frame. Let's take a look at the relative strength index, which indicates periods of overbought and oversold, and you do fluctuate between the two very regularly, and you go through sort of periods of extremely overbought and extremely oversold as well. So on the daily time frame, we've hit overbought. You can see it's touched it right here. So look, if we had in the next couple of days, if we had a few red days down, the next week, if you want to call it that, all the way back down to test this level here around about your 1720 to 1740 level. Don't panic. That's certainly not anything to worry about. We would just want to see that 1720 level hold as support, and then you could confidently say, oh yeah, I can easily see it going back up. So back down to here, wouldn't be worried that we're definitely heading lower. So that is on the daily time frame. But just bear in mind, the next few days, if you see some red days, just don't panic at all. Although, of course, we could certainly sail straight through to that $1,800 level and go into extremely overbought territory. But we haven't been in extremely overbought, I should say, and since March of this year, where we had the big double top peak right there. But as I said, few days of red, definitely, don't panic at all. Let's take a look at the weekly time frame. So we've got so just bear in this mind, you've got the triple bottom right here. This is on gold. Take a look at the weekly. You can very clearly see even on the weekly time frame, 1, 2, and now 3, triple bottom. And in the relative strength index, we had been talking about a particular trend line. I think I put it in last time. Yeah, I had. And I just removed it for some reason, but I'll pop it back in right there. Where was it? It was around about there. So I had been talking about on the weekly time frame the fact that we had broken through this trend line. We had broken through and then retested it as support, then it bounced off. And we were around about sort of this area here roughly when I did the last video, but in the last week, because of the big price pump, we have seen this move in a very nice direction. So we're moving in an upwards direction on the weekly relative strength index as well. So triple bottom moving up in the weekly in the relative strength index. So that's looking pretty positive. Let's take a look on the monthly time frame, and I'll just get rid of those lines, but I'll keep this. Okay, monthly time frame on the relative strength index. We have not hit oversold, but that does not mean that we definitely will be hitting oversold before we may see higher prices from here. So if you take a look on the relative strength index on the monthly time frame, we actually haven't been in extremely overbought, and we actually haven't hit this line right here. We haven't hit oversold, I should say, sorry. We haven't hit oversold since where are we? Right here, when we hit it last time for the first time, 1997. So right here between 1997 and 1999, you saw a period of oversold, then extremely oversold right here, and then a move back up, and then another dip down to really oversold right there, and we have not touched it since. And what you might notice right here, so sort of like a support level. If I pop in a horizontal line, if it lets me do that, what you'll notice right here, and you can see the crosshairs, you can see that around about sort of 38 to 40 on the relative strength index. If I popped it in, let's just say comfortably we'll call it there. Let's do it around about there. Can you see that? You can see it's acted as support basically for quite some time, a little bit of a dip back in 2013, sort of that 2013 to 2016 level, where it was just kind of consolidating a little bit, no wild swings down or up. But right here, it's definitely not out of the realm of possibility that we could just can bounce off this support level on the relative strength index and just continue up on our merry way, I should say. So on balance of probability, for me personally, not financial advice, I'm going to say there's an 80% chance, and this isn't the advice, and it's not the opinion of Ainslie, but for me personally, I think the bottom is in. 80% chance at least that the bottom is in. What would contraindicate that? Well, what we'd really want to see on the weekly, and this is why I'm calling it 80% at this stage. For me personally, I really want to see it break 1800 and then hold 1800 as support. So that's, for me, would be the big confirmation. Look, again, you've got a triple bottom. You've got some good directional movement in the relative strength index in both the daily, the weekly, and also the monthly as well. You can see how it upticked a little bit. So it's looking really good in my opinion, but for me to be 100%, I want to see it break above and hold the $1,800 level right there. Technically, on this particular price right here, I want to see it break above there, right there at let's call it $1,810. So I'm going to call it 1810, break above there and hold that between sort of 1800 and 1810 as support. And if it does that, then I'm going to say 100% bottom is in. But for me, 80% that the bottom is in gold. Now, does that mean the same for silver? Let's take a quick look. All right, silver on the weekly time frame. And yeah, I'll keep the indicators on. So what you can see here, bottom, lower low right here, but no lower low. So the lowest we've gone so far is $17.60 right here. Beautiful move in the last few weeks, all the way from $18.80, and we're skirting around this area, this $22 area, which I've been talking about for quite a while. If I pop this onto the daily, yeah, you can see we're just knocking on the door right now. Similar to gold, you can see that we have touched the overbought on the relative strength index on the daily time frame. So again, And it looks like to me, and I don't know if you can see it, but it looks like to me the velocity of the movement higher is slowing down, which could say that this overbought nature here means we might see a few red candles in the next few days. Again, don't panic if you do see that. I would want to hold support at, let me have a quick look. Do I keep this line here, 21? Yeah, I will keep that just for the moment. So I want to make sure it holds, or you want to make sure it bounces off and has as support that $21 level right there. And for me, because gold, I'm 80% sure that the bottom's in for gold. I'll say the same for silver, but what level for me would definitely make it 100%? Let me see. Yeah, actually, I'm going to say this $22 level and $22.50. I'm going to say right here. Now, it's very liney, as I like to say. Right here, see that peak right there? $22.50 roughly. I'm going to say between $22 and $22.50, that's the level that I want to see break out and hold as support. If we do that, break out, you'll probably come up to this resistance level of around about your $24 level and come back down and have this hold as support, your $22 to $22.50, then I'm going to be confident that the bottom is in for silver as well. For now, I'll keep it at 80%. Let's take a quick look at the monthly. And actually, I'll just show you on the weekly because I think I have this drawn in from last time. Or did I do that for the monthly? Yeah, you can see here as well, this horizontal line that I had as support. We have, and this is a positive, we have already gone into, and I think I mentioned this last week, we have hit oversold on the weekly time frame. And look at this beautiful direction right here. So that's on the weekly time frame and on the monthly. That's what I did last time I did it for gold. I did it for silver as well. So you can see here this support level, and I'll just move this out the way so you can see it a little bit better. Right here, this kind of, again, this sort of 38 to 40 level on the relative strength index on the monthly time frame. It's a holding as sort of support. Again, 1991 was the last time that we went into extremely oversold. So we have yet to touch it. And again, it doesn't have to. You could certainly see this bounce off here, act as support, and you could certainly see it move higher from here. It doesn't need to touch the oversold just yet. But as I said, I want to see it hold, move above, break above, and hold the $22 to $22.50 level on silver for me to say that the bottom is definitely in, but I'm calling it 80% for now. Again, my personal opinion, not financial advice, not Ainslie's opinion itself. So that is silver. And let's take a look at platinum. Beautiful. Okay, what a great metal, the other white metal, platinum. Do you have platinum? I do have some in my stack. If you don't, consider getting in. It's great to diversify within the precious metals. We say balance your wealth in an unbalanced world here at Ainslie. So we don't say, put all your eggs into precious metals. Don't put all your fiat dollars into precious metals. Spread your risk around, but within the precious metals, gold, silver, and add some platinum too. I think it's got some legs to go. So let's take a look where we are. This is on the monthly time frame, of course. The big peak right here, and this is in February of 2008 at the 2,300 US dollar level. You can see very, very clearly that downtrend line all the way down. We did break it in March of 2021. But it was a failed move, and oftentimes from a failed move comes a fast move in the opposite direction. So we failed to hold this as support, so we broke down. Another attempt, so that was a second attempt to break out. It was another failed move, so a fast move to the downside. And looks like just in the last month, we are trying once again to break out and hold this time the big downtrend line. So let's take a look on the weekly. Look at that. What do you know? I'll pop this on the... Yeah, I'll keep it on the weekly time frame. So far, we've held it as support, but this is the start of the week. So just bear that in mind, the start of the trading week. But in the last few weeks, we've had this bottom. You can almost call that kind of like a triple bottom, really. You had a little wick down to 825, but you can see here sort of the main body is right here at your 835, 840 level. Looks like a triple bottom as well. And if you have a look at the relative strength index, it is certainly ticking up, moving closer and closer towards overbought. So, you've got some room to move higher. Let's take a look at the daily time frame. And just like gold and just like silver, we're inching towards, we haven't hit it technically yet, we haven't technically hit overbought on platinum, but we've had the peak so far. A third attempt at breaking out above this downtrend line. Will it hold? That is the question. Let's pop on to, let's squeeze in a little bit or zoom in a little bit. Look at that. Isn't that crazy? That's amazing. Look at that. So that's the downtrend line going all the way back to February 2008. And we've had a breakout of the downtrend line and a retest. Look, almost exactly. That was a resistance point on the daily time frame. And it hit my resistance point right here, which I've had drawn in for a while at 1040. An attempt to break above. So far a failed move, so a fast move to the downside, and right smack bang on the giant downtrend line. What do you know? So we want to see this hold in order to be confident that we are going to see higher prices in the next coming weeks. So it just depends on where it hits. We've had one support level test. The more times you knock on that door, the more likely it is to be broken down, so just bear that in mind. And on the daily time frame, as I said, in overbought territory. So if you do see some more red candle days in the next few days, in the next week or so, don't panic again. I would say the next support level, and I'm going to remove, I'll keep it at here for now. So your $950 level, if we were to come back down to $950 in the next few days, I don't see why we would, but if we do, don't panic. But you do want to hold the $950 level. And popping in some trend line right here. Does that coincide? Yeah. Okay, so the first thing is, preferably you want to hold this downtrend line going back from 2008, from February 2008. You want to hold that. Preferably you want to see a bounce off and then just on the merry way, breaking back into this triangle, sort of ascending triangle area. You would want it to keep support at this uptrend line right here. So that is platinum. What's my call on platinum in terms of, is the bottom in? Look, if the bottom is in 80% for gold and for silver, I would have to say, sort of logically, I have to say the same for platinum. Also bear in mind that platinum, and I don't have the platinum sort of comparison to gold ratio on me at the moment, but over history, platinum has tracked and it's been higher than the price of gold. Sort of more traditionally, it's been higher than the price of gold. So it's quite undervalued in terms of its relation to gold historically. So I think owning some platinum, not a bad idea, at least to diversify within the precious metals. But as I said a little bit earlier, we tell you to balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. So do your own research on platinum. But that is gold, silver, and platinum. Let's take a look at very quickly the next areas of resistance. I don't think I've done this for a while. I'll keep these at the moment. So if we go great guns, if we do keep this level of support, the downtrend line from February 2008, if we just bounce off there, the next resistance level for me is 1,200, and the next one for me above that is a big one right here of $1,520. So then the next two targets moving higher. If you want to see my targets moving lower in case we just, the bottom falls out of it, then you can just pause the video right here to get my targets moving lower. All right, that is platinum, that is silver, and that is gold. As I've said, my conclusion, non-financial advice opinion, not speaking for Ainslie itself, is that the bottom is 80% in, 80% chance that the bottom is in for gold, silver, and platinum as well. But let's see what the next weeks hold. So that is it. I need you to like, share, and subscribe. Head over to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Ainslie Bullion, for the wide range of informational videos 5 days a week, including weekly specials and more. And while you're there on the internet, head over to goldsilverstandard.com, because that's bringing gold and silver into the digital world. I've said it twice already. I'll say it one more time. Balance your wealth in an unbalanced world. Take care, and we'll see you soon.